At one point in my life, I was in this room at my friend's house and I was putting ecstasy, heroin, and coke together, and I was shooting it up while smoking crack and drinking. I mean, it got dark in my life. And I was sitting in this big mansion going, is this what my life has become? So that's kind of where I was in my life. I was that guy. I don't think I heard the Holy Spirit for many years, you know, towards the end. But then again, I was always drunk and high. Oh, I grew up out here in Southern California. I really attached myself mainly to skateboarding, and I was always attracted to the other stuff, the stuff like the forbidden fruit in a sense. My first opportunity was in high school. I got an opportunity to smoke weed, and that was pretty much the beginning of a whole snowball effect of events that would happen. You got the hottest chicks in school, they're seniors, you're a freshman. And they're like, hey, let's roll out to lunch, jump in the car, start blazing weed. That's where you're at. That's what I was thinking in high school. I got introduced to the electronic scene in 1990, 91. We were out in the hills dropping a lot of LSD and stuff at that time. People were doing hallucinogenics in this warehouse for hours. I ended up meeting this girl and we're dating for a while. Basically what happens is she calls me one day and she says, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm sorry, let me go back. So basically she calls me one day and says, I just had an abortion. Like, I didn't even know you were pregnant. Next time, tell me when something like this happens. You know, I'm in love with you. Like, if you ever get pregnant again, let's have the kid. 5 months later, she calls me and says, I'm pregnant again. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm making good money. I'm like, let me go buy a house or a condo or whatever, and we'll move in there and you just raise the kid. And she calls me up a couple weeks later and says, Ryan, I'm too young to have a kid. She goes, I love you, I want to stay with you, but I need to get the abortion. I said, I'm drawing the line in the sand. Like, you do it and I'm out. So she did it, and I basically broke up with her, and I said, all right, how could God do this to me? I remember being in my room going, God, I want nothing to do with you, I hate you, and I'm gonna live for myself. But in reality, was I in love with her, or was I just in this like a sex relationship? Like, that wasn't love, that was just chaos. I don't know, a couple of weeks later, I get a phone call. It's a job offer to come being a team manager for a professional skateboard company. And basically what happens is my life takes off. I'm traveling the world 9 months out of the year. I'm working with some of the biggest rock bands and hip hop bands in the world. You know, Playboy Mansion parties, vivid porn stars hosting our events, cocaine like crazy, just feeding my body appetites, my flesh. And it feels good for a while, but what happens is this hole in my heart keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I had to keep filling it more girls, more drugs, more alcohol. It's like that dog that chases its tail. That's what I felt my life was. Wake up, same thing every day. I tried getting sober 3 times in 10 years. But the problem is you become accustomed to the routine, the habits. And after about, 16 friends OD'd on drugs or like committed suicide, it was getting really dark in my life. I didn't care if I lived or if I died. I OD'd 3 times, all kinds of crazy stuff, just darkness, you know, darkness in my life. And it all boiled down to this situation when I was in Panama City. I was using a bunch of cocaine and Xanax and alcohol for 9 days straight, and I just OD'd, boom. One of our team riders found me and I wasn't responding. They thought I was like dead, like I was on my way out to die. My heart was gonna stop. So they called my dad and said, hey, we think we're gonna lose your son right now in Panama City. You know, I did OD, I just didn't drop dead. And I remember just telling the team, I'm like, man, I gotta change everything. I gotta switch my life up. This isn't working, I'm not happy. I remember looking up to the sky going, God, if you're real and you exist, prove that you're real to me. Jesus, prove that you're real. I expected Jesus to show up with the clouds of glory. Nothing. I'd taken like hundreds of hits of LSD in my life because I used to love like being out of my body experience of like seeing things. So I thought I would have this crazy encounter with Jesus. Nothing happened. So I'm like, great, Jesus is a no-show. I wake up the next morning, I grab the Bible and I steal it from the hotel. I put it in my backpack and I read it from Panama City to LAX. For like 6 hours straight, I just read the Bible. I remember the whole skateboard team, they're all looking at me going, the cocaine pirate's actually reading the Bible? Like, are you kidding me right now? Then I land in LAX and I felt peace in my life. I basically was at my house and I was praying, God, I have some serious issues and I need you to remove this stuff out of my life. Like, it's been seriously almost 8 years now. I've not drank, I haven't used any drugs. I don't even smoke cigarettes anymore, that's a whole nother miracle. No heroin, no crack, Xanax, nothing. He doesn't show you overnight what you're created for or the plan that he has for you. Because if he told me, hey, Ryan, okay, you're gonna give your life to Jesus at the hotel room, you gotta stop smoking cigarettes, I'd be like, I'm out. You gotta stop watching porn, I'm out. You gotta stop having sex with chicks, I'm out. Like, you gotta stop cussing, I'm out. Like, all these things that I'm accustomed to, that are my life. If he would've told me that out of the gates, I'd be like, dude, I cannot do this. Your life's this puzzle of 2,000 pieces or 5,000 pieces. And you just come to God and you throw it on the ground to Jesus and you're like, this is my life. It's a mess. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't even know what my life looks like, the future of my life. And then Jesus starts pulling pieces out and go, this doesn't go with your life, smoking, the heroin, humping other chicks, watching porn. He just starts throwing these random pieces that ended up in your life that you put them in to this mess. And then what he does is he starts getting those other pieces that are part of the picture. And he starts putting like the corner together and you're like, oh, there's like a sky in the corner. I'm starting to skate and surf again. Okay, that's the sky. And oh, here's the building. Oh, okay, whoa. Now I'm gonna go back to marketing. I'm gonna start working in music again. And he starts putting these little pictures together and you start to see the picture of your life. And as he started doing that over those years, all the things that I love to do, I love to throw parties, I love to be around people, unite people, those are all the desires he put in my heart to do at a very young age. All that stuff, after I begin my life to God, he starts bringing it all back from the job I used to do. And next thing you know, he starts opening doors for me to use my gifts for his purpose. I created a music festival called Exit. I was still working with the art, street team, promoting. And then from there, the Whosoever's movement started in 2009 with Sonny Sandoval and myself. It was like, I see it like a worldwide movement. Basically, the Whosoever's, the anybodies, the whoever's, presidents, bums, like anyone in between, small and great, coming together in a worldwide movement to reach people for Christ. And then basically from there, we started doing concerts at high schools or out in parks, and then we started doing big music festivals. And it was just a snowball effect of this movement. Rehabs, anywhere they would let us tell our stories, we would tell our stories. I'm doing like 20 times more than I was doing before. I'm like living, and I'm doing stuff I never thought I'd be doing. Tune in every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Pacific. What can we do as a church? Because we're all part of the church.
Right.
What can we do as a Christian movement, the Holy Spirit movement, to reach the world that is lost? What I used to think life was I have a house, I got Harleys, I got girls, I got money, I'm traveling the world, I'm living my dream. But what does God have for me if I already got this? What I didn't know at that time is like, dude, he had like the dopest plan like that I could ever imagine, that I had no dream of. So basically, if you're dealing with any of these addictions, you're dealing with like self-harm, suicide, alcohol, drugs, eating disorders, you're dealing with bitterness, anger, any of that stuff, basically, you need to get plugged into a church that teaches the Bible. Read, pray, talk to God. You gotta be around like-minded people. If you're dealing with addiction, get plugged into a Christian addiction group and they'll help you overcome and walk with you. It doesn't matter if you fail. It's you just gotta keep pressing forward for Christ. And there's gonna be grace and peace for you. Once I gave my life to the Lord and I said that prayer and God took away those desires for the drugs and alcohol, it wasn't like I arrived, I'm super Christian, I'm all good and I'm healed. Yes, he took away the drugs and alcohol, but if I see people smoking crack on TV or shooting heroin, I remember what that feeling feels like. So in my mind's like, my flesh, should I say, is like, yes, go. But then the Holy Spirit's like, you ain't like that anymore. So it's a battle. And the more I say no to that flesh desire, the easier it helps me to overcome. I am not perfect, I'm rough around the edges, I'm a messed up person, but where I was, dude, I've changed a lot. So it's a process. Whosoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. Whosoever, anybody, and that's you.